Hey, how's it going? Adam Chandler here in Colorado, and the purpose of this video, I'm cutting this quick video to show you a blog post that I actually created yesterday. There's going to be a link to the blog post right underneath this video, and the thing that's important, the thing, the reason why I wanted to share this with you is because there's a couple really important marketing lessons in this blog post. So I'm just gonna walk you through what the lessons are. This is the title of the post is 5 Human Undertakings Way Harder Than Being Successful in a Home-Based Business. So I'm just gonna give you kind of a little bit of a gist of what I'm talking about here. We'll go back to the marketing lessons after I show you this, but the 5 human undertakings way harder than making money in your own home-based business and being successful in your home-based business. The 5 things I listed out was Thomas Edison inventing the light bulb. You may have heard the story of Thomas Edison failing 10,000 times before he actually successfully invented the light bulb. And it's a story of resiliency, and it's really important for all of us that are entrepreneurs, that are working towards being successful in a home-based business. And number 2, building the railroads. So and I talk a little bit about, you can read these stories in details, but I talk a little bit about Cornelius Vanderbilt, one of the visionary entrepreneurs who really capitalized on the building of the railroads and the connecting of East and West in the United States. I'm a history buff, so I really like that I can kind of combine teaching marketing and teaching home-based business and throw in some history lessons in there as well. So this is a little creative way that I've found to do that. Number 3, building the Hoover Dam, one of the largest construction projects in the 20th century, built between 1930 and 1935, which, if you're familiar with American history, that is during the Great Depression in America. And let's see, such a large concrete structure had never been built before. And in the end, the dam provided electricity to Nevada, Arizona, and California, and I've got a pretty cool picture of the Hoover Dam right there. It's massive. It's pretty incredible. I've actually never been there myself, but I would like to check that out someday. Building the Amway Corporation, Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel, and some of the struggles that they went through, in the early days of building, this multi-level marketing, huge company that we know today as Amway. And because of the fact that it was a very new business model, the multi-level marketing business model was extremely new at the time, and of course, anything that's new is obviously going to be fraught with all kinds of people calling it scams there's going to be a lot of resistance when anything is new. It's funny because all the guys, the Amway guys did was they just found a better, more effective means of connecting connecting the buyer to the consumer, or connecting the product to the consumer. So that's all they did, was they found a new distribution method that proved to be extremely effective. And they actually went to court and fought the legitimacy of their company in court for 4 years, and ended up winning. And that's why we have the industry that we know as network marketing or home-based business today. And it's funny because when they like I said, it was met with a lot of resistance, and even still is to this day. For home-based business, and some of it was because of shady practices of certain companies and things like that give the rest of us a bad name, unfortunately. But the same thing happened with the franchise business model in the 1970s. Before that, you had like shopping malls and department stores. That was met with a lot of resistance. So anytime there was a new way of connecting the product to the consumer, it was met with a lot of resistance. And that's why that's why I mentioned building the Amway Corporation, because it's a company that has thrived massively done up to, I believe, $10 billion in annual sales, and it's so that was it was a major victory. And most of us, a lot of us, couldn't be doing what we did if it wasn't for Rich DeVos and Jay Van Andel paving the way. And then I actually mentioned my grandfather's life. My mother's father's name was Edward Burnett. Born in 1921, lived through the Great Depression. He fought in Italy and Northern Africa. During World War II, he had 10 children, 10 children, including my mother, and somehow managed to keep all of them clothed and fed, even though they were very poor. He started a scrap metal business after he returned from the war, and for many years he struggled, making ends meet with that business. However, a couple of his youngest sons, a couple of my uncles, took that business over in the later years of his life and turned it into a multi-million-dollar company, which is pretty cool, because I love the fact that something that my grandfather built, my grandfather the entrepreneur, something that he built is still blessing my family to this day. And even though he died several years ago, it's incredible to think about that. I mean, he left a legacy, in himself, and with the enterprise that he created. And I think about, and one of the stories that I mentioned in here about my grandfather is how where he was working in a scrap metal yard, a propane tank exploded near where he was working. He got second and third degree burns all over his body, and he had to roll around in a puddle of mud to put out the flames on his body. My mother actually read this, and she told me that another thing was that in the mud puddle that he rolled around in, there was a bunch of broken glass. And I think about that when I think about things that affect me and my business and my personal life. When I see challenges, or problems, or things that I'm facing in my business and my life, oftentimes I'll think about my grandfather and some of the struggles and some of the things that he had to endure in building his business. And suddenly my little problems don't seem all that bad anymore. Isn't that kind of cool? So just to give you an idea, what we're talking about here is effort conditioning. Now, I first heard about effort conditioning. I want to give credit where credit is due. I first heard about the concept of effort conditioning from a guy named Mark Hoverson in a course that I purchased from him. I highly recommend anything from Mark Hoverson. And one of the things that I learned from him was the idea of using contrast in your marketing. So think about price conditioning. And now these are the two marketing messages the two marketing lessons that are really important that you can really take away from this. Number one is the marketing lesson that you can really take away from this is price conditioning. Now price conditioning is, if you're going to sell a business opportunity for $500, let me back up. If you're going to sell like a coaching program that costs $500, then what you want to do is you want to mention similar coaching programs that cost $2,000. And I've done this with my own coaching programs that I've launched in the past, and said, I have friends and business partners that have paid $2,000 for a similar coaching package. I know people that have paid up to $10,000 for one-on-one personal coaching from people that have the results that they want. That's price conditioning. When you start mentioning numbers that are higher than what you're charging, then suddenly, by contrast, the numbers that you're charging, they don't seem all that bad, and it doesn't seem like quite as big a deal. So, and the deal is that when your prospect doesn't see buying your thing as that big a deal, that's when the sale is made. Another way to use conditioning here, and this got this right from Mark Hoverson, the idea of effort conditioning said that when he has a prospect on his website, and let's say the prospect is at the at the buy button, and then the prospect starts, they're almost ready to make a decision to buy, but they're just, they start hemming and hawing and saying like, oh, I don't know, maybe I'll wait till next week, or run it by the wife, or they start making these excuses and going into their left brain. Then the one of the things that you can do is say, hey, John, let's say your prospect's name is John. John, it's not like we're curing cancer here. We're simply signing people up into the fastest growing industry in America. It's really not that big a deal. You see, that's effort conditioning, because the prospect is, well, I don't know if this is going to work out, and you're saying, hey, look, it's not that big a deal. You're conditioning the effort. So you can kind of start to see these 5 human undertakings way harder than being successful in a home-based business in the 21st century. Now, another thing that you can do with effort conditioning is you can effort condition yourself. And we just launched the 100-day Biz Builder Challenge 2013 with a couple hundred very hungry success seekers, entrepreneurs, home-based business owners, and we're absolutely thrilled to be moving forward with this group. We got a great group of marketers that we're working with in this 100-day coaching and accountability program. That one of the reasons why I wanted to introduce this concept of effort conditioning is anytime you're about to take on a major undertaking, like a 100-day challenge where you're going to want to push yourself and do more than you normally do and get out of your comfort zone. Anytime you're going to do that, or the same thing could be if you're going to take on a new big marketing project, or just anything that where you're kind of just starting, and you know that there's a little bit of a long, hard road ahead. This is how you effort condition yourself. Okay, by thinking about things that human beings have done that are way harder than what you're about to have to do. Okay, so just like think about major construction projects, the Hoover Dam, the building of I mean, people build islands. You realize that there are man-made islands that people build, and then they sell them. I mean, think about the incredible feats of engineering and innovation that have to go into doing something like that. And when you think about those things, when you get clear on those things, and then you think about what you have to do, all we do is we drive traffic to a few little websites, and we talk to some people on the phone, and we could pretty much make as much money as we want. I mean, obviously there's a little bit more to it than that. You got to study, you got to follow the successful people, the people that paved the path for you and everything. But you get my picture, right? Effort condition yourself by thinking of things that people did, that human beings just like you did, that are way harder than what you're going to have to do. Okay, that's called effort conditioning. Using and the other big takeaway that I just mentioned in your marketing, using price conditioning. Think about ways that you can use contrast in your marketing, and you will drive more sales, guaranteed. Again, click the link down below this video. You'll get taken to my blog post, as well as you can peruse my blog, and this little area right here, the 6-figure MLM resources, is a very popular area of my blog, and you can figure out, learn how I went from my making only $19,000 in 2009 to my very first 6-figure year in 2011. Again, that link is right there, and click the link down below to get taken to this exact blog post. My name is Adam Chandler in Fort Collins, Colorado. We'll look forward to seeing you on the next video. Take care.